Today, I am 6 years sober. For some reason, I keep wanting to say I'm 7 years. I don't know why my mind just defaults to 7. But today, I am 6 years sober. Sober from alcohol. And yeah, I feel great. I just figured I could go live because I kind of made this a habit of doing these. And yeah, I just want to make sure that we're all talking out there, and I'm sharing my experience being sober and being on a big mental health journey. Yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm super, super grateful. Thank you to everybody out there. Let me know if the audio is good. The audio on the red is really annoying, and I can't tell if it's peaking or not. Trying to host a stream and also stream it at the same time is difficult. I feel great. I feel wonderful. 6 years sober. It's been a very, very big journey in my life being sober. To be honest with you guys, drinking was, before I got sober, was an enormous part of my identity and my life. And it and a lot of other addictive behaviors led me towards a really destructive path that I think at the core of the nucleus was all around not having a lot of self-love for myself and not feeling good enough, and not really liking who I was. And I think, drinking a bunch and, like I said, just participating in a lot of really, really bad addictive behaviors outside of drinking contributed towards the cycle of just being in this self-hatred cycle. Dan, appreciate the donation. Salute to everybody out there. I see Desi, Chewy. I see everybody in the chat. Yeah. It's been great. I got sober 6 years ago, and when I first got sober, I had stopped drinking previously for like 113 days, and I kind of just threw out a number that I thought was going to be pretty challenging to meet as far as sobriety goes. I was like, okay, I'll be sober for a year. I'll try to do that because that sounds crazy. Like, I used to be the person that if we would go to a restaurant and they didn't serve alcohol there, I would be frustrated that they didn't serve alcohol at a restaurant. And I would almost be like, why are we even here? So I threw out a year because it seemed like such a long and ridiculous goal to try and reach. But as I went through it, and honestly, within the first month of me quitting, I saw so many positive benefits. I saw such a change in my mental, my physical. When you drink, for your whole life or for most of your adult life, as in my case, I didn't really start drinking till I was around 19, 20. You do damage your body so much. It's literally poisoning yourself. My face, I was very puffy. And I've always been a guy that's it's really hard for me to shed weight. It's really easy for me to gain weight, and that's cool in some regards, but it's really hard for me to get rid of weight. And alcohol kind of always just kept me looking puffy, and I just didn't look healthy, I felt. And when I quit drinking for even the first month, immediately I saw the benefits of stopping that. And I'm not here to say that my journey is applicable to everybody. To be honest with you, we're each unique. We each have our own unique set of chemical structures that make us who we are. So I can't say, since I've not drank for 6 years, and to be honest with you, largely it's been a really great experience and one that has not been challenging as far as drinking. Not drinking for 6 years, to be honest with you, there's been few times that it's been actually challenging. And that's unique to me. That's just unique to me. That's not anybody else's journey. I know a lot of other people struggle with drinking a lot. And that's just their their journey. It doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody. It doesn't mean that I'm worse than anybody. We're just chemically different. Alcoholism could be genetic. It could be a chemical imbalance, just like depression. I think it's everybody's journey is different. I quit drinking in a very unorthodox way. I just went cold turkey and I just stopped. And I really dug into other aspects of my life that I felt like could need a lot of help, growth. I've been in therapy for 7 years. I, I've made a lot of changes in my life. My life 7, 8 years ago looked dramatically different than it does today. A lot of good ways, but a lot of disappointing ways too, unfortunately. But hey, that comes with the territory. Not all growth is beautiful, and the path doesn't illuminate; it glows. Oh wait, no, the path doesn't glow; it illuminates. So the path illuminates as you walk it. So, for example, for me, like wanting to get sober for a year, I didn't see the end destination as being like, yeah, that's easy, that's attainable when I set the goal. And I definitely didn't think I was going to be sober for 6 years when I originally thought I would take a break from drinking for a year. I didn't even really know what my goal was, and I still don't. To be honest with you, I personally don't feel like I'll ever drink again. I feel like it's not something that is beneficial to me. It's not something that I ever really think about. It's as foreign to me as shooting heroin is. It's just something that it's not an option for me, and it doesn't really exist in my neurological pathway. It's not something that I utilize as an escape from the uncomfortability of life as I previously did. Like right now, it's like in the corner of my studio, there's a bar for Geechee's podcast. I shoot Geechee's podcast here, and there's a bar in the corner that has alcohol. And if that was triggering to me, I would look at that and be like, "Oh, I feel like drinking," or I film battle rap. And if there's one thing people that are involved in battle rap love, it's being inebriated. So I'm around weed all the time and alcohol all the time, and it does not bother me. It doesn't trigger me. It doesn't like really put me at in a state where I want to partake in it, because I feel secure in where I am in my sobriety. And I'm grateful for that. I'm super grateful for that, but I know that's also very unique to me. That's very unique to me. And I feel like if you're out there watching and you're thinking about getting sober, don't think that because you can't quit and it's not easy for you, that makes you a pussy, that makes you like anything less than who you are. Everybody's journey is different. You might struggle with something that other people don't. I struggle with things that I feel like a lot of other people, it's no problem. I mean, grief for me is a really, really challenging thing to get through. I struggle with grief. I struggle with losses hard. I'm still struggling with like a relationship that ended 6 years ago. So it doesn't, it's not a total blanket thing. Sobriety isn't like, okay, these are the steps to get sober. I can just share my experience, and hopefully it will inspire and help people towards bettering themselves in whatever way you can. I mean, I didn't go to AA. I went to SLA and SAA, and it didn't really resonate with me, to be honest. Like, I went to a bunch of meetings, and I never really felt like I came out of there feeling like I had any tools to really, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It just didn't resonate with me. The community was cool, and it was like full of like acceptance and love. And I know that a lot of people do utilize the anonymous communities for great enrichment and great health through their journey, through whatever they're going through. Just for me, it wasn't part of my path. And that doesn't mean that nobody should try AA if you're going to get sober. I actually think most people should. If you want to get sober, I think going to meetings like that are great, because it's like this. It builds a community. You get to see people, talk to people that have been through it, see how other people traverse the challenges. I mean, I just met somebody who is 10 years sober, and they were saying that they could not be where they're at without AA. And that's amazing. They're further along in their sobriety than me, and they utilize AA for it. So, there's not like one path of doing this that applies to all. Just because I quit cold turkey and never turned back doesn't mean that that's how everybody should do it. Because frankly, I think like very few people should do that and could do that, because maybe I'm just really different genetically, chemically. Doesn't mean I'm better, just means I'm different. So yeah. But anybody in the chat got any questions, anything you guys are going through, feel free to ask away. I will answer them and read them as long as my terrible eyes allow me to. Ben, 4 years sober for me, and I completely agree with you in regards to benefits. You should be proud of yourself because you have discussed important topics such as sobriety and other issues important openly. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. D Bizzle, Salute Avocado, keep pushing. Appreciate that, man. Jacob, how is the realest guy in battle rap? The producer, cameraman. Appreciate that, Jacob. Thank you, man. Alfie, good to see you, my friend. I am 4.5 years sober myself, and you helped motivate me. Dude, Alfie, that's amazing. That's so fucking cool. I did not realize you are 4.5 years sober, dude. Congrats. That's really, really incredible. How's your journey been? How's it been going for you? Leo, what's up? Abo, just wanted to say thank you for being an inspiration to me in my journey of constantly trying to be a better person. You have no idea how much you've helped from South Africa. Appreciate that. Careless Angels, thank you, man. Thanks for helping me through my own stuff. You're the realist. Thank you, Jacob. My God, my eyes are horrible. New Swammy, 13 years, Cali sober, no AA. Wasn't for me either. Congrats, Avo. 5 years is amazing. Appreciate that, man. Hey, and 13 years is huge. That's super big, man. Congrats on that. Congrats, man. 6 years is no joke. Keep fighting the good fight. Appreciate you, my friend. Been sober from drugs other than alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine for like 2 years, and not gonna lie, I feel like I'm ready to stop drinking. Go for it, man. You got this. You totally got this. Hey, man, thanks for being so open and having this dialogue. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm grateful for sobriety. It's been wonderful. I, like, really cannot think of my life otherwise. Like I said, there's been, like, very few times where it's, like, been challenging. There's, like, the thought has come through my head sometimes of drinking. I will say this. Drinking does, like, there is something about being social and going out that drinking provides, like, a social lubricant to, but also that truly is a mental thing. And I'm saying this as somebody who does not have a strength in like being socially fluid and like going out all the time. I don't do that. I'm a hermit. I stay inside, I read, I play with my dog. I wall myself off to people. I'm very insular, and it's a bad thing because I'm trying to meet people. Obviously, I want an intimate relationship, and that dating is really challenging if you're like that way. So there has been times that I'm like, oh, maybe if I start casually drinking again, I could like meet people, I'll be going out, blah, blah, blah. But that ain't me. That is not me. I like can't really imagine what that would give me other than just interacting with more people that I can already do. I'm out in the world all the time. I go to the gym all the time. I'm around people every day that I see every single day, probably more than my family members. I can talk to them. It's just about, again, sobriety initially was putting me outside my comfort zone. Drinking keeps you in this blanket of security because you numb yourself of all your issues. And they don't solve them. All that does is put this big weighted blanket on all your problems, and it actually makes them even bigger to deal with in the future. Same with anything that you're just like kind of tucking away. It's like, imagine not paying your taxes for years, and you're just like, oh, they'll go away eventually. It's like, nah, that shit's going to build up, gain interest, and it's going to be more of a pain in the ass to deal with in the future. I know that. I've had fucking tax problems. So drinking is very similar to that, when you're just kind of putting off issues, escaping the uncomfortable of life, the uncomfortability of life. that's just another thing. It's like being like, oh, how would I be able to like go out without like having a drink and being like loose? It's like you can do it. It's not weird. It's sure, I guess like there's awkwardness to it, but who cares? Who fucking cares about that? And again, I'm saying that from a perspective, not somebody that like does that all the time. I'm very aware of that, and I don't do that because of that. But I'm saying that doesn't take away from the fact that that is true. It doesn't matter at all. I'm quitting weed very soon, been winding down. I struggle with the identity thing. You mentioned alcohol was your identity, but how did you navigate this? Everybody knows me as the weed guy. Yeah, man. I mean, everybody knew me as the alcoholic. To be honest with you, all my friends knew me as the guy that would always drink. It's like, I remember filming a battle rap event in Calgary, and like some random person was like, drinking is like your superpower, because I was like drinking a beer in the middle of the day, and it was like kind of early in the day. And I remember even then, when I was like in the deepest throes of my like just my darkness of like being disloyal to my girlfriend, doing extremely bad stuff that I'm still beating myself up for today. Even then, when I was in that deep state of like numbing myself out to all this bad shit that I was doing, even then I felt like, damn, that's not good, man. Like, Jacob, I'm not trying to like say anything, but do you like being regarded as the weed guy? When I look at my past, it's like I don't think I loved being regarded as the dude that was always drinking, the party dude. Like, I don't think that is cool. I don't think that's like fresh, sexy, dope. I think that's kind of lame, to be honest with you. I think that's something like a kid romanticizes, not like an adult. And then when I kind of just like leaned away from that, I'm like, nah, I want to be somebody who I feel like is enriching the world around me. I feel like I want to, like, when I look at somebody and I'm like, damn, that person's really nice. That person's really kind. That person's really genuine. They're authentic. Those are things that I really love in people. And I feel like attaching your identity to those qualities that you try to practice is so much more important than being known as call up Kyle. He's here for a good time. He'll go day drink with you. He'll get fucked up with you. He'll drink and then think he's like fooling people and like that he's a good drunk when he's really not. So I think like attaching your identity to more pure, I don't know if pure is the right word, but more like just positive elements is so much more important. At what point do you stop keeping track of the time you've been sober? I mean, I get it, but kind of holding on to the past, no. Not really. I mean, I guess I understand what you're saying about holding on to the past. I mean, I'm very guilty of like not being able to let go of things. I don't count the days, really. I'm not like one of those people that I'm like 367,000 days sober or whatever. It's like I'm not like counting down the minutes. But to be honest with you, if that helps other people, who cares? It's not really about holding on to the past. It's actually, if anything, holding on to the present, because you're basically saying, this is happening right now. I am this minute sober. I am the next minute sober. It's really keeping you grounded in the present current time. So it's like, I don't really like, even the years, I'm like, there was like, I kept wanting to say I was 7 years sober. I don't know why, but I'm 6. So, I mean, I understand if you can view it as like being stuck, I guess, but more so I see it as people using that to power themselves, and motivate themselves. Like for a lot of people, it feels really good to hear like for example, if you're trying to quit cigarettes and you're like, dude, I haven't smoked a cigarette in 7 days. It's like, fuck yeah, 8 days, hell yeah. And it like gives you this boost each time you like add a day, add a minute, add an hour. And you're like, yeah, it's kind of like anything like exercising. You run 2 miles, you run 3 miles. You're like, damn, I'm getting good at this. It's very motivating. So I think whatever like really helps you. I don't really think that's a bad thing. I would never look at that as a bad thing. Quitting weed was honestly very easy. I was smoking for 21 years every day. Just don't smoke. It's genuinely not hard, even if you don't want to hear that. Yeah, I mean, once again, that's awesome that it was so easy for you. That's really rad. I would never negate anybody else's journey, especially if they were saying, hey, like quitting weed is hard for me. It's like, I have a close friend who smokes a lot, and yeah, it's not easy for them to quit. And I'm not like being like, just don't smoke, it's easy, like I can't tell them that, because this is like they feel like this is their one good thing in life. And so until they're ready to see that there's a lot of other great things in life and lean into those things, like I can't really be like, it's easy, just don't do it, because like I said, we're all super different, man. Everyone knew me as the girl who popped E and did crazy things. Now most people just view me as a goody two-shoes. Changing your habits and the people you're around will change your image to others. Be bored. Yeah, exactly. I think Desi's answering a question about like, what do you do when you stop drinking and how boring it is. I actually met somebody. Another thing that I'm doing, which is like, putting me outside my comfort zone, is I'm taking salsa dance classes. So I'm pretty much transitioning into being a metrosexual. No, I'm kidding, but I'm not a dancer. I've never danced in my life. I'm a dude that likes fucking hip hop and weightlifting and very like toxic masculine things. So dancing, and plus I'm like a white guy with no rhythm. So dancing has always been super outside my comfort zone. And I just wanted to do something that was going to put me in, like, once again, like an uncomfortable position, and I was going to learn a lot from. It's been fucking awesome. It hasn't been fun the whole time. It's been very uncomfortable a lot of the times, but I met somebody in my class that was sober, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I've been sober for 5 months, and yeah, I'm just bored. He's like, it's a lot of being bored. And I get that if like drinking was the main thing that was like fun, and I used to think like that too. I used to think drinking like made stuff so much more fun, and I don't really know if it did, to be honest with you. I mean, I understand like the chemicals making things seem fun, but was it fun just sitting around a table for fucking hours and hours and like just talking about the dumbest shit drunk? Is like, was that fun? I'm not really sure if that was very much fun, as more so it's like the alcohol was making it seem fun. When I got sober, I started doing stuff that I actually think is fun, like taking a salsa class and learning a new skill is fucking fun. Like hiking a mountain, like me and No Can Do last week, we hiked a fucking mountain together. We went and hiked for 10 hours straight. It's like I was drinking, I would not do that. Like going to the gym a bunch, like just doing good stuff, like getting inspired, it's like a big thing with me right now is like trying to grab inspiration from like films and like, I don't know, like I go down wormholes of like just looking at inspirational typography, design and stuff like that. Like that shit to me is cool. That shit to me is inspiring and fun. Going to a bar is cool, and I get socializing has a lot of like place and merit, but you can do that without alcohol. You can totally, and trust me, you'll probably have better conversations because you're more present, you're there, you're not gonna slur your words or say something that you don't really mean because you're like, your inhibition is lowered. Yeah, life is really amazing, dude. Life is really amazing. It's the best thing we have. I mean, I know that it's hard. I won't say that. It's really difficult, and life is super unfair. And it's challenging, but it's beautiful. And there's so much out there, man. There's so much out there. And I do feel like if you are just diving into the deep throes of some addiction, you are doing yourself a disservice by not experiencing life in its like truest raw form, the good and the bad. Appreciate that, Adrian. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, Angel. I have a brother who shares the same birthday as you and got recently out of rehab on his own sobriety journey. I'm praying you find similar success. Angel, good luck to your brother. That's amazing. I'm allergic to alcohol and always designated driver, and I'm fine with that. I like to make people feel safe. Pixie, that's amazing. That's amazing, and that's why you're a good person. Keith, good to see you, bro. Good to see you in here. But yeah, anybody else Got any other questions? I got to go to work. I started my VFX job again. Thank the Lord, because the film industry is in a terrible spot right now. So I ain't been working for a while. And I'm glad to be back at it. But anybody else got any other questions? Anything to talk about? I didn't do one of these last year because I kind of cut back on Ruin an Hour because I felt like it was very narcissistic and very like ego driven, like me talking about me and my problems. Man, I don't know. I do have a problem with this, like it being so much about me and content creator and podcasts. I fucking hate all that shit. I like don't like it at all, because I do think it's like super narcissistic, but I do love y'all. I do care about you guys a lot, and I like this space a lot. I need to get help ASAP. What are you going through right now? What do you need help with? The pool. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Much love to everybody out there. Appreciate everybody on the encouragement. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.